حي على الفلاح.
Number one, on the Day of Judgment, it illustrates that there's some work going on. On the Day of Judgment, when these events, this Ghashiyah starts overcovering, then you're running around trying to escape, right? كَلَّا لَا وَزَرْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ يَوْمَئِذٍ الْمُسْتَقَرْ. There's people trying to find a place to hide, something that they can find some kind of refuge in, and they're exhausting themselves doing so. Then we know on the Day of Judgment we have to stand for a really long time in a laborsome kind of way and answer a lot of questions. This is an exhausting activity, so amila is used. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu says, this state of them being exhausted is because they did not work in dunya. In this dunya, they did not do the works, the actions that Allah had demanded of them. And they exhausted themselves in things other than dunya, other than Islam, for dunya itself. So you will have, we're not the only ones who work hard to provide for a family, right? One time this Christian monk came to Umar radiallahu anhu, and he was very old. You could tell he has given his life in worship, in Christian worship. And Umar radiallahu anhu saw him and he started crying. And the Sahaba asked him, why are you crying? What made you cry? And he looked at the Christian monk and he said, "Amilatun nasiba." This monk has exhausted his labor, worked hours and hours and hours of a day, years and years of his life, given up his youth for a kind of worship that Allah will not accept. How sad is that state? So he felt sorry enough to cry for that person. SubhanAllah. Right? So this is the idea of amila, false worship. People are engaged in false worship. Another kind of amal that people engage ourselves, this is the kind of worship we do nowadays, where the messenger cursed, Ta'isa abdul dinar wa abdul dirham, right? May the slave of the, literally dollar and cent, right? Dinar and dirham, may they be destroyed. We give our entire lives to work. We give them up to work. You go to work, you're concentrated on expanding your career and making it higher and higher up the corporate ladder. You're on vacation, you're talking to people about work. Even when you bring work at home, you take work to work and you bring it at home. Your whole life becomes work. You're working, and the only you talk to an engineer, all they want to talk about is engineering stuff. Even when they're not at the office, you talk to an accountant, man, taxes this year, right? That's what they want to talk about. You talk to somebody in medicine, that's all they want to talk about is medicine. Right? Their careers become so much so, and some psychologists say, you are what you do. Right? So they become just that. You ask them, who are you or what are you? They'll say, I'm an accountant, or I'm a teacher, or I'm a physician. No, I'm a human being, I'm a Muslim. Right? There are other things you are. This is just a small part of what you are. Right? But you just identify yourselves as that, and that becomes you. And so all you have to show for yourself is advancement in this career. You've built this empire in a business. Or you've built your name, your reputation with this tenure in this company, right? Or you've waited all the way to this top level executive position. And you're tired after all those years. People destroy their marriages before family, right? For their careers. People lose touch with their children. Their children rebel and leave the home. The only reason they come to their parents is because their parents are a good cash register for them, right? All for what? What are their lives gone in? They're gone in work. And now they come before Allah on the Day of Judgment. You figure when you die, now it's time to rest. That's why in English even they say rest in peace. But these people are raised exhausted. They are raised amila. Their faces are still exhausted. And what is ahead of them? Can you imagine? These disbelieving people who gave preference to worldly life didn't even enjoy dunya. They were working 70 hours a week, 50 hours a week, commuting half of their lives they spent half their lives stuck in traffic in a car, right? Just exhausting themselves, and now they're tired. Now they're standing in front of Allah. Guess what? That was vacation compared to what is coming. Now they have to stand in front of Allah. Now they have to head into the hellfire. But are they prepared physically to be ready for that? Now Allah says, now the human being will be informed. What did he make a priority out of, and what did he put on the back burner? That's the translation I'll prefer here. Bima qaddama, what did he give priority to? What took taqdeem for him? What was priority number one? What took precedence? وَمَا أَخَّرَ, and what could wait? What were the things that you put on the back burner? The crime of the human being isn't necessarily that he doesn't do a good deed. The human being says, it can wait. I can do it later. The crime of the human being isn't necessarily that he doesn't leave sin. He says, I'll leave it later. Or, let me do what I want right now. I'll do that later. I have time. Taqdeem and ta'khir, not the grammar one.
the one for life. Human beings will be thoroughly informed. What were your priorities? What did you put ahead? What came first for you? What came later for you? بِمَا قَدَّمَ وَأَخَّرَ. The other meaning of قَدَّمَ وَأَخَّرَ in Tafsir Juz Amma I mentioned also, قَدَّمَ also means what you've sent forward. You've done deeds, you've done works, and every one of them are waiting for you. Our deeds are waiting for us. كُلُّ نَفْسٍ بِمَا كَسَبَتْ رَهِينَ. You've sent collateral over. You've sent deeds over for processing. And you're going to meet those deeds on Judgment Day. I don't meet my deeds now, I just do them now. I will meet them then. وَوَجَدُوا مَا عَمِلُوا حَاضِرًا. They're going to be standing face to face in front of their salats. If your salat was lousy, you'll be standing in front of a lousy salat, staring right at you. That's what it's going to be. If you were lying, cheating, backbiting, angry, arrogant, condescending, whatever you were, you'll be looking right at you in the face. And then you're going to say, مَالِ هَذَا الْكِتَابِ. That's the reality of it. بِمَا قَدَّمَ وَأَخَّرَ. What did he make a priority out of? What did he put on the back burner? This is one of those life-transforming ayat. The human being will be thoroughly informed. This was your priority. This is what you spent time on. This is what you did with your free time. This is what you thought can wait. You had all these dreams. I want to memorize the Qur'an. What did you do for it? How many seasons of how many TV shows did you watch instead? That was a priority for you. You wanted to memorize. Oh, but it can wait though. Inshallah, one day, when my heart is purified, then I shall start. You know? بِمَا قَدَّمَ وَأَخَّرَ بَلِ الْإِنسَانِ. No. Yes, on that day the human being will be given thorough news, but it's not like the human being's blind now. Rather, the case is that the human being, عَلَى نَفْسِهِ, against his own self, بَصِيرًا, is fully insightful. There is one person that knows so much about you, and nobody else knows about you. And besides Allah, and that's you. You have an insight into who you are, what your flaws are, what your limitations are, what your capabilities are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what opportunities you avail, what opportunities you get lazy about. You know that about yourself more than anybody else. And you and I decide to lie to ourselves. We just decide we're not going to have an honest conversation with ourselves, and about ourselves with Allah. We don't want to have that honest conversation. For some people, all they want at the end of their life, what is success to them? Maybe I'll own a house. That's success for them. Maybe if I have this much money, that means I have success. Maybe if I got married to this one or that one, maybe that means I have success. But I go back to what I started with. There are some people who are happy with doing just the minimum. Just the minimum. But I'm here to tell you, the young people in the audience today, Allah has blessed you, and I'm telling you, He expects great things from you. He does not expect the minimum from you. There are so many Muslims, the only thing left of Islam is their name. That's the only thing left. They don't care about salat, they don't care about halal and haram. They're far from this deen. What can I do to further this deen? What can I do I shouldn't just be happy that so many people come and attend Jumu'ah. Does that mean everybody's heart is clean? Does that mean that we don't need any more reminder? Is that what that means? Or are there evils in our society? Are there youth that are turning towards drugs? Are there young people that are just living their life for no purpose? All they do is play video games and watch movies and go to sleep. And if you ask them for a purpose, they say, I want to graduate and get a job. Is that a goal? Get a job? Allah gave us such higher goals. Your job itself is a means to a higher end. But you know what? We are living in strange times. The people who need the da'wah the most today are the Muslims themselves. But even if you get a good job, but you don't do your job, you got the job, but you show up late every day. You got the job, but you don't finish any projects. You're sitting there at the desk wasting your time. You're going to lose that job. Somebody else will come and do it for you. You will not keep that job even if you qualified. Qualifications are not enough. You have to do the work. Allah Azza wa Jal is giving all of us, He's already qualified us. We are people of La ilaha illallah. We are already qualified.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. If you enjoyed this video, please do share it with friends and family. If you want to see more videos from this series, click on the box at the top. If you want to see other videos, click on the box at the bottom. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks.